Welcome back to the DFS Vet Shop. I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem, and you can follow me on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem, breaking down tomorrow's 12 o'clock 5 game slate on DraftKings. What we're going to be doing tonight. Of course, we had a much needed break on Saturday. We were able to get some football lineups in there, so that was a pretty good day. Just got the kids to bed. We've got the Christmas stuff all lined up. Everything is fine. When they wake up in the morning, they will wake up to many toys and gifts. Thank you for those of you that were able to contribute to the movement so far, because that was definitely appreciated by my children and their Christmas gifts. Really quick, last night was a horrible night for me. Lost half of my buy-in. If it was not for the late games, the late game entries that I was on tilt and threw in, I would have lost my complete buy-in. I was able to win some of that back, at least half of that back, so that was pretty good. Not a good showing from the core four. We had Darren Collison, Nikolai Vucevic, John Wall on there. Farouk Amino. This was not a very good showing, and that's going to happen from time to time. And that's why bankroll management is so important. You don't lose it all in one day, but you could win it all one day, right? So that's our goal, is to stick to that 10% rule, investing no more than 10% of our complete buy-in on slates that we are comfortable with, and slates that we are not very comfortable with, going at least 5% low. So that was our practice, and that's what we've been doing so far. But real quick, just wanted to jump into the point totals. But first, we're gonna go over the player pricing just to get a real good idea on where everybody stands and how the slate breaks down. Let's check it out. We're gonna start with Russell Westbrook, of course. Now he's gonna be the most expensive guy on the slate at 12.5K. Normally, I would not roster him. Like there's only two areas where Russell Westbrook is in play for me. On the super huge slate, where there's so many options, the ownership is going to be low, around 15% or less on Russell Westbrook. Say like the other night with the 14-game slate, he was not as very high owned. Or on a super short slate like tomorrow, where he's going to be 30% owned. So I don't want Westbrook at 18 to 25% ownership. I want him at 30 or better, and I want him at less than 15, because that means my night is already decided by whatever he does. If he goes off and I got him at 15%, I'm good. If he goes off and I got him at 35%, then that means I'm in there with everybody else. But if he doesn't, that's the issue, and that's what's going on tomorrow. But I think that Russell Westbrook is in a really good spot tonight. Now, if this is a high-scoring slate, then we need Russell Westbrook to hit that 6x value. We need 80 some odd points from him. But if this is going to be a low-scoring slate, like I don't think the slate is going to be as high-scoring as a lot of people think. I don't think we see the fireworks and the cannons and the dunks and the dives and the triple overtimes and shit. I don't think we see that from Golden State and Cleveland tomorrow. Honestly, I just think that Golden State is going to beat them. I think Golden State is just going to beat them. It's not going to be a huge point total. That's just my opinion. And I'm going to have some shares in that game, but my main stacks are going to come from the Minnesota and Oklahoma City game. I think that'll be a contrarian play. Everybody likes Golden State, Cleveland, and Boston, New York. Those are the games that everybody is on. And I think I'm going to be on Minnesota, Oakland, and then just have pieces of the Boston, New York, and the Golden State, Cleveland. That's just where I'm at. And most notably, Minnesota is where I really, really like to stack tomorrow. So let's go ahead. We've got Russ Westbrook at 12.5K. He's in play. We've got LeBron James at 10.3. I like him as a one-off. I won't be stacking Cleveland tomorrow just because there's one guy who I really don't like. Kevin Durant is going to be at 9.5. Cleveland is fourth ranked in DVP against the small forward position. But in a game as big as this tomorrow, I think we can kind of throw that out of the window. Chris Paul, we're not sure the status on him yet. He's dealing with that hamstring injury, so we've got to keep in touch with the beat writers on Twitter. We've got to check on all of the sites that show the injuries as soon as possible, so that we can know exactly where we stand with Chris Paul. If he plays tomorrow, I do like him. If he doesn't play, then I don't like DeAndre Jordan, and the entire Clipper bench gets a big bump for me. We saw that the other night against the Dallas Mavericks. Steph Curry is at 8.5K. That is a good price for Curry in such a high-profile game. but I don't think that we don't see that from him. We just don't see those crazy Steph Curry games where he scores 75 points. We just don't see those because we don't have to see those this year. That's not what the team is planning on doing so far. They're not trying to win 75 games. So, we're just not seeing a full onslaught of Curry shooting jumpers, threes. Just we're seeing a lot of team basketball, a lot more passing, a lot more going to the basket is what we're seeing. So for that reason, in a game this big, Steph Curry is not somebody who I'm going to be having a ton of ownership in. Now, Karl Anthony Towns at 8.3, I really like him a lot. You're going to see the 8th ranked DVP, and that's going to scare some people off. But I think this is my favorite stack game right here, the Minnesota at Oklahoma City. Kevin Love, he is the one guy from Cleveland that I'm fading. I won't have him in any lineup. I don't like him. I don't like him tomorrow. Over the last 2 seasons, he has not been playing very well against the Golden State Warriors, and I think that continues. He just does not play well against the Warriors. You can check the lines; he just doesn't. So I don't like him tomorrow. Isaiah Thomas is definitely a play against my New York Knicks at 8.1. That's a fair price for him on such a short slate. Draymond Green is in play at 8K, but I will have him in a Golden State stack where I just say fuck it. I go Clay, Draymond, and Durant. And I grab some Oklahoma City guys, some Minnesota guys, hit the LA Clippers bench, something like that. That's the way I'll be constructing my rosters that have to do with Draymond Green and the Golden State side of the ball. We've got Kawhi Leonard at 7.8. Now, he is in play, but I don't think we're going to have to see a bunch of Kawhi Leonard in order for him to beat them. We've got Paul Gasol coming back. We've got LaMarcus Aldridge, of course, Kawhi Leonard. Tony Parker could be good to go. Manu Ginobili. So I think they're going to be at full strength. And they're going to air at home. They're going to beat Chicago pretty bad. Kyrie Irving is definitely a play at 7.7 against the Golden State Warriors. We know we can attack Golden State on the perimeter, especially through the point guard position. So I do like Kyrie Irving tomorrow. Carmelo Anthony at 7.6 is off of the table for me. He's going to see a pretty good defender in Jay Crowder. So that would lead me to like Jay Crowder more, actually, than I like Carmelo Anthony. He is cheaper, and he he does the peripherals too. So I like Jay Crowder tomorrow. Jimmy Butler at 7.5 is not on the table for me. Neither is DeAndre Jordan. If Chris Paul is out, if Chris Paul is out, I want no part of DeAndre Jordan. If he plays, I like him. Kristaps Porzingis is a really nice big that we can use to target Boston's rebounding woes. They are one of the worst teams in the league when it comes to rebounding. That's the law in the sweatshop. We talk about that all the time. There is also a cheaper option in the Knicks game that you can go to as well. But I do like Porzingis because he provides that 40, 50-point scoring upside. 21st ranked against power forwards. He is 7.2K. That's a very fair price for a guy that could drop 50 for you on a small slate with a Q mark by him and really separate you in tournaments. LaMarcus Aldridge, we talked about him on the last show, and I like him tomorrow. I think he can be a decent play, but the usage is going to be down some with Paul Gasol coming back. And at 6.8K, I think there are other places we can go that'll give us a more sure bet. Andrew Wiggins at 6.6, he is off of the table for me as well. He's probably the only Minnesota guy that I won't have stacked in that starting lineup because I do like Rubio, Towns, Levine, and Gorgie Jang. We've got Klay Thompson. He's definitely a play for me in 6.5. We get a hot shooting Klay Thompson. He could definitely go off against the Cleveland Cavaliers tomorrow. Al Horford is in play at 6.5. I do like him in some spots. We're going to see a lot of Boston stacks tomorrow. Don't worry, we are. I'm gonna have one, and definitely Al Horford is going to be in there when I do. Zach LaVine at 6.4. Now we see Oklahoma City is ranked 10th in DVP, the defense versus the position of shooting guard. But you got to think about it. A lot of that was due to Vic Oladipo playing really good defense. While he was playing, he's been out the last few. Actually, the DVP was higher and it's getting lower and lower. It started at, I believe they were like 4th ranked in the league at some point. Now they're 10th because the DVP is going up. So I do like Zach LaVine tomorrow. I think that continues to trend up. And Dwayne Wade at 6.2. I just don't need Dwayne Wade tomorrow. He's not a player I need. Not against San Antonio. I just don't need to do that. I don't have to go there. Derrick Rose at 6.5. I kind of feel the same way. He is in play because you can definitely manipulate and score against Isaiah Thomas. But Derrick Rose is just not. I just don't need Derrick Rose tomorrow. At 6.1K, I'm looking at 40 DraftKings points almost is what I need from Derrick Rose in order to make that value. I don't think we see that tomorrow. Avery Bradley at 6K flat. A lot of folks are going to be on him. They are seventh ranked against shooting guards, but Courtney Lee is one of the worst shooting guards in the league. Uh, if we see a lot of peripheral stats, defensive stats from Avery Bradley, he can definitely make value easily tomorrow. So he's somebody who is on my radar, but I will have him sparingly. Paul Gasol, the revenge narrative is not really there with this game. This game is in San Antonio, but I'm sure Paul Gasol wants to do well against his old team. So he's somebody that we can look at 6K flat. He had a really decent game out the last time he did play. Rick Rubio at 5.9 is in play for me. 23rd ranked against point guards is Oklahoma City. Um, I can't say enough about how much energy Russell Westbrook expends on the offensive side of the ball, and he doesn't expend that same energy defensively. So I think Ricky Rubio is definitely going to be in play tomorrow at 5.9K. Lou Williams, who I never like, is somebody who I kind of like tomorrow, especially if Chris Paul is out, because they're going to be seeing like an extended run against the LA Clippers second team, who is fairly decent. But if Lou Williams is shooting hot, he can definitely put up some points against this LA Clipper team without Chris Paul. Rajon Rondo at 5.7. I don't need that tomorrow. Going up against the San Antonio team defense, I don't need that. Julius Randle, he is in play tomorrow. There's no Blake Griffin. He's going to be banging down low with people like Paul Pierce to begin the game and Wesley Matthews to end the game. So I really think we can look to D'Angelo Russell. Randle tomorrow. Randle, somebody who I like tomorrow. D'Angelo Russell at 5.6. He is in play. Um, if Chris Paul's not in, he's definitely in play. I think he's getting up to that regular minutes limit, so D'Angelo Russell, somebody we can definitely look to tomorrow. Gorgie Jang is probably one of my favorite plays on the entire slate. I think he's the most rock steady, like rock solid, sure guy to return that 5x, 6x value for us at 5.5K. The price is still like steady with him. He's going to be seeing he's going to be seeing the Sabonis kid at first, and he's going to destroy him really quick. So I do like Boogie Jane tomorrow. Victor Oladipo is going to be out. JJ Redick is going to play at 5.3. Jay Crowder, another one of my favorite plays on the slate, 5.1. I will have a piece of him with the Boston New York game. Steven Adams is a no for me. Tristan Adams is a no at 4.9. I don't like Luol Deng at 4.9 either against the Clippers. Luke Mbah a Moute doesn't see the ball enough for him to actually defend him and be on the floor and be needed. So I don't like Luol Deng tomorrow. Jordan Clarkson can have a good game off of the bench if they keep it close, due to the fact that Chris Paul may be out. Nick Young, Swaggy P is not somebody who I'm going to be dealing with tomorrow. Robin Lopez. I think that can be a decent play at 4.5K against the San Antonio Spurs. They are not very good rebounding the ball, so I do like Robin Lopez tomorrow. Austin Rivers at 4.4. Of course, we can fire him up if CP3 is going to be out. Enes Kanter is a really good play for me. I like him tomorrow. Both of these plays. I like Enes Kanter and Kyle O'Quinn. Kyle O'Quinn is probably going to be very chalky because he had a 40-some-odd point game last time out. But I'm going to have some shares of Porzingis too. And he can play alongside Porzingis as well. 21st ranked against the power forward position at 4.2K. He's definitely in play. Enes Kanter is going to be seeing Cole Aldridge, the second team from Minnesota. I think it's going to be the highest scoring game on the slate, and I definitely think Enes Kanter has a lot to do with that. Iman Shumpert is in play at 4.1. We know J.R. Smith is going to be out and definitely with that thumb injury. Marcus Smart is also a sneaky, cheap play that I do like at 4K flat. Jamal Crawford at 4K flat as well. Maurice Spates at 4K flat is definitely in play against the 25th ranked defense against power forwards. Andre Roberson is not somebody who I like very much at all, especially since Minnesota's already like second ranked in the league against small forwards. So I do not like Andre Roberson tomorrow. Cole Aldridge is not in play for me. Channing Frye is in play at 3.9. Joakim Noah is in play for me at 3.9. Patty Mills, if he starts, if you don't see Tony Parker, he is in play, but I think you're going to see Tony Parker. Timothy Mozgov, the price is up on him. He was 3.2, now he's 3.9. I don't want him at all. Courtney Lee is a no for me. David Lee is a no. Brandon Ingram, no. Thomas Robinson. I think we see Julius Randle back, so we don't need Thomas Robinson tomorrow. Brandon Jennings at 3.7 is in play. That is a sneaky, cheap point guard option if we see difficulty come out from Derrick Rose, which we have seen in the past. Dwayne Dedman is not in play for me with all those guys back. Hernan Gomez is not in play for me with all of those guys playing. Danny Green at 3.6 play. This is a starter at 3.6 play, 3.6K. He may be an option to look at. We got Nikola Mirotic at 3.6. That's a no. Luke Mbamute, that's a no for me. I like Kelly Olynyk at 3.5. I think he can bring some value to the squad. Manu Ginobili is back at 3.4. I like him. Andre Iguodala is a no for me. Raymond Felton is a no for me. Jaja, if he's starting, go ahead and get that 15 minutes of Jaja. I don't like him. 3.3K, I don't like him. Jeremy Grant is down 3.2. DeAndre Liggins, who is probably going to be getting a start tomorrow, down to 3.2. I don't like him at all. Dougie McBucket, 3.2. Amir Johnson, who had an excellent game out last time, can have another decent game against the New York Knicks at 3.1K. We've got to give him a look. Samaj Christian is a no. Chris Dunn is a no. Cameron Payne. So there's not a ton. There's not a ton to love about some of the cheaper options on tomorrow's slates, but we love the stars. We do. And let's go ahead and jump into the point totals real quick. This is the Boston Celtics traveling to New York to take on the Knicks. It is a 213 point total. That is a really nice total for this game. We can definitely look to the Boston side of the ball when we're talking about perimeter scoring. I think Isaiah Thomas is in line to have a really nice game, as he has had the last couple games out. He's, I think, over the last three, man, he's been averaging uh, 54 points. He's averaging 54 over the last three games. I think that trend continues tomorrow. We see a really nice game from him. The good thing about this game is, yeah, it's a 213 point total, but the differential is only a -2. That's Boston's giving up 2 points, so we think this game is going to stay close. As a matter of fact, the biggest spread we have on the game is the San Antonio-Chicago game, the one that I'm not going to really have a piece of. So I do like a lot from the Boston side. We talked about our Boston stack already, where we have Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder, and maybe a cheaper guy off of the bench, somebody like Kelly Olynyk, to come out and play well against the New York second team, and then that allows us to pay up in other spots, grab a big one-off from the Golden State game, or maybe even go up to Westbrook from there. We've definitely got options if we stack cheaply on the Boston Celtics side. New York Knicks side, Porzingis is the only guy who's really, really in play for me. Like, the only guy who I really think that if he's healthy for all intents and purposes and everything is fine, he's going to have a good game. That's going to be definitely Kristaps Porzingis, because of course we want to attack Boston rebounding the ball. The next game we're going to talk about is the Golden State Warriors going to Cleveland. This is a 222 point total with Golden State Warriors giving up 3 points. So the Cleveland Cavaliers are a home dog, and I like when home dogs are in nice point totals like this, especially with the small spreads. So I really think we see a very competitive game. The only thing is the ownership is going to be tremendously high on these guys, because a lot of people are going to just stick their hats in these games. In this game, particularly, just because it's the game of record, man. It's what everybody knows. We all want to see Golden State. We all want to see Cleveland. We want to see them play each other. It's the rematch at the finals. It's a lot of hoopla involved. And I think that while everybody is so wrapped up in that, I'm going to be making hay in another game. But if you did want to stack something to Golden State side, you can look Draymond. You can go Klay Thompson. You can go Durant. I do not like Curry tomorrow. And off of the bench, I like Iguodala and Ian Clark. I think they can be decent plays, stack plays off of the bench if you didn't want to pay up for the higher price Golden State players, but you still wanted to get a piece of this game. On the Cleveland side, the only guy that I really, 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 really don't like out of all the superstars is Kevin Love. I don't like Kevin Love. He has not been playing well the last few games out against the Golden State Warriors, and I think that trend continues. I like Kyrie Irving. We've seen what he can do against uh, Steph Curry, and we've seen what other point guards can do just against the team defense, against the point guards when it comes to Golden State. So I do like Kyrie Irving tomorrow. I think LeBron is definitely in play. That'll be the only other place that I was to go in this game, except for Iman Shumpert. If I need like a cheap salary saving, once I'm done really getting the plays that I really like and the stacks I really like, then I definitely could use Iman Shumpert. The next game we're going to talk about is the Chicago Bulls going to San Antonio to take on the Spurs. This is the lowest point total on the slate, 198.5 points. The Chicago Bulls are getting 9 points from the San Antonio Spurs. So the Spurs are a home favorite, 9 points at home. This game says fade to me. There's absolutely nobody who I really, really like on either side of the ball in the Chicago and San Antonio game. I think we can take a look if we wanted to attack San Antonio rebounding with Brook Lopez and Taj Gibson. I think that on the San Antonio side, we can definitely take a look at Paul Gasol. This is going to be a very plus matchup for him, especially with just coming back off of that day of rest. I think we see a pretty decent game from Paul Gasol. We know that Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili should be back at full strength in this game, so that's going to decrease some of the minutes we saw from maybe Patty Mills off of the bench. So I'm not sure how I feel about those guys. In such a low point total, I don't want to have so much invested in this game that I do miss out on one of the higher point total games. So the next game I'm going to talk about is my favorite game on the slate. This is the Minnesota Timberwolves going to Oklahoma City to take on the Thunder. It is a 209.5 point total, with the Oklahoma City Thunder giving up 5 points. I like Russell Westbrook in this game, definitely. I like Enes Kanter. I think that we can look to Joffrey Lavergne in some spots. Like there's some cheap players on this team that can bring you that 6x value back. So, but most notably will be Westbrook for me and Enes Kanter. I do not like Steven Adams tomorrow. On the Minnesota side, I think we can go forward deep with this stack. I like everybody but Wiggins of the starters. I like everybody but Wiggins. And off of the bench, you can look at Namia Bielita as well as Shabazz Muhammad. I probably won't have much of those guys in any of my lineups, but I just love a four deep Minnesota stack that would allow me to grab one of those higher price guys, maybe a LeBron or maybe a Kevin Durant, to kind of round out my roster and still have a nice stack in core that I do like. The next game I'm going to talk about, and the last game on the slate, is going to be the LA Clippers going to the LA Lakers. This game is a home game for both teams. It is at the Staples Center. This is 213.5 point total. We're not sure on the status of Chris Paul yet. He's got that hamstring issue. We can just have two scenarios: if Chris Paul plays or if Chris Paul doesn't play. So if Chris Paul plays, I like him. If Chris Paul plays, I like DeAndre Jordan. If Chris Paul plays, I do not like JJ Redick. If Chris Paul plays, I do not like the Clippers bench as much as I do. If Chris Paul doesn't play, I like D'Angelo Russell. If Chris Paul doesn't play, I like Julius Randle. If Chris Paul does not play, uh, I like Austin Rivers. If Chris Paul doesn't play, I like the Clippers bench more to stack and then pay up for some studs in another game. So this game can have that late night hammer that we really love to roster on any slate. We've just got to comb through and really find it. Thomas Robinson should probably be done being a thing tomorrow because we're probably going to see Julius Randle back. Timothy Mozgov is a stiff who won't be able to do anything down low with the Clippers front court players. So I definitely don't like him, even at his cheap price. There's some good stuff on the slate, but like I said, we've got to comb through and we've got to find it. Now remember, tomorrow we are stacking. There's going to be no core four released, and I do that because I like to keep it honest with you and let you know that the guys that I'm talking about are the guys I'm playing, and I give you my real strategy. Because as a profitable DFS player that just wants to transfer some of that your way, if you play how I play, you will become a profitable DFS player. This has been your DFS Jerusalem. You can follow me on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. Have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. And if you would like to further support the show, you're doing that in its purest form right now by just watching, giving me your views, your likes, your comments. But if you would like to further support the show, there is a box over here. And you can click that box. It will take you wherever you need to go in order to support the show. If you are a regular member of the 300 Club and you wanted to support some DFS Sweatshop swag, you can definitely follow the link in this video or any of the other videos, and it will take you to a site where you could cop your Sweatshop swag. You can support my personal PayPal at simmonsmaurice95 at yahoo.com, or just go by the website. If you want to be a full-fledged member of the DFS Sweatshop, just go by the website It is www.dfssweatshop.com. Get in there, register upon your paid subscription. You will be receiving all of the wonderful service that we render. And thank you very much for all you've done so far. This is your DFS Jerusalem signing off. Remember, in the DFS Sweatshop, we always keep it 300.